Well, how do you record this?
Uh, Let me look.
Capture, it says, but I don't know what
Where?
capture. There's a column of icons on the left
Mm-hmm.
of your. Can you see that?
Chat, screen share, showcase, question answer. I think it is capturing right now.
Is it? How do you know that?
Uh, because it's
Oh, it's
huh.
capturing. Oh no.
Open capture, yes, but I think that's for pictures. Let me just
Oh
check.
wait. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, let's forget this.
I think it is capturing right now.
What is Wait. What is YouTube doing? If I press YouTube, will it convert this into your YouTube?
It is actually uh, broadcasting right now, so I think it is recording as well.
Okay, can you adjust your screen, please? Because I can only see about half your face.
Okay, let me just okay. Is it better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so you've got my comments and everything with you, right?
Yes.
Okay, are you recording? Well,
Yes, I think it is recording because it's on Google. Okay. Yes. It's on YouTube, so I think it's recording.
okay, show me your document because I've forgotten what it looks like. Is it the same thing as this? It's the same thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. But there seem to be stuff. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Okay, go on. Because you need to come to my office tomorrow and collect the comments from Dr. Israel as well. Okay.
Okay.
So what have I written?
You said this needs changing because this is an essay in business and management, not in world religions.
Okay. What does that mean though?
I
Does it
need to
mean
check.
anything to you?
Yes, I need to change my research question. Is it the way how I developed my question?
Hmm. I still don't know what your question is.
I uh, so as I mentioned, in development of the research question part, in
Give me the page number.
yes, I'm looking at the page right now. I think it has to be page 6. After talking with Dr. Israel about my research methods, I realized that it's better for me to do the extent they say more like based on Quranic values because when we were talking about research methods with them, uh,
Where do you
Quran.
say this? In page 6.
Yes, in page 6 it says. Uh, I submit my keywords, but unfortunately, due to lack of time, I couldn't have an oral discussion with Mr. Israel and Mr. San. No, no. It's in March 2015. I've talked with John Israel about research methods that I will use. I decided to do case studies, interviews, surveys, and work on Surah. After having chat, I changed my research question and found my final question. And in
You haven't stated
page,
what your final question is, though.
excuse me,
You haven't stated what your final question is.
it is to what extent Islamic values in the Holy Quran support entrepreneurship.
Where is that written?
Uh, in the first page, in the page fifth page.
In the 5th page.
Yes, fifth page, third point.
Oh,
So when I said progress
okay.
of the
Yeah,
yes,
but you know what? This is a very unclear research question. I'll tell you why.
very unclear.
Yeah. Have I commented on that?
No, you only told me that this needs to this needs some changing.
Yeah. So the reason why it's changing is because you don't say which Islamic values, right? Uh, and secondly, uh, It doesn't say what you mean by support. How do you expect values to support a business?
Would it be better if I said promotes?
Not really, because see, values don't promote something. See, what you have is you have a few business people running a
Mm-hmm.
business, okay?
Yes.
And there, so there's several questions you can ask about to what extent is this to be identified with Islam, right?
Yes.
Is it? I mean, just by having
It's not
Muslim
like
owners
every.
doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, first of all, just by having Muslim owners, is that enough to make it an Islamic business?
No.
Okay, so what else is required?
The thing that I will base my research on is actually researching on the values of trading of business in Quran, and then looking how they are linked with entrepreneurship, and then how they would support entrepreneurs.
Okay,
So
but
it's not like
first of
having a
all,
business model and going to the Quran. It's more like using. Okay, what is your comment?
first of all, if you talk to a range of business people,
Yes.
you will find that their businesses are established for business reasons, not for religious reasons.
Yes.
Okay, do you agree with me there?
Yes.
Now, this
I
is
definitely
so.
agree.
So actually, there's no basis for agreement right now, because this is an empirical question. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
when people establish a business, do they establish it for business reasons or religious reasons?
Business
And that is
reasons.
all. Well, okay, you're assuming that, but it might be religious reasons as well. Okay, or it might be a mix of both. You don't know this until you ask the question and find out what the responses are.
Yes.
Now, this is a question of method. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so basically, in order to arrive at an answer to your question, you need to ask a lot of preliminary questions first of all.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you need to ask a sort of subset of questions which will answers to which will lead to a conclusion which answers the original research question.
Yes, that's right. Like the thing, but like I think like we don't have our communication is I'm more like going from businesses to Quran. I'm more like using Quran to investigate on entrepreneurship. So I'm more
But
thinking about using like
how can
okay
you use a
this surah says this, and this is a motivation for an entrepreneur to do this.
but how are you going to establish that? How are you going to say that okay, here I have successfully or conclusively proved that this surah motivates business people this way to or in order to that's not the way it works. See, religious texts are don't just mean one thing to all people.
Yes.
They mean different things to different people and at
Yes.
different times. Okay. So the way religious texts are used by human beings, okay, irrespective of
Mhm.
their divine origins or whatever. I'm not getting into the theological aspects of religious texts. All I'm saying is that you can't go from the religious text to a business practice because those business practices or business
Mhm.
models or strategies or whatever you want to call them, okay, are not unique to Islam, first of all.
Yes.
Okay. They're to be found in many different parts of the world. Okay.
Mhm.
But some Muslim business people might
Mhm.
say, okay, this is an example of my doing following Islam in this way, as it says in the Quran in this surah. Okay.
Yes.
But that is their personal interpretation.
Mhm.
I mean, that interpretation may not be accepted by other Muslims as well.
Mhm. So is it
So
possible
that
if I talk about my interpretations, like in page 15 and 16, I've stated some surahs.
Page 15 and 16. Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
So let's have like the shortest surah is 2 Al-Baqarah 282. It says, but take witnesses whenever you make a commercial contract. It says. Did you read it?
Yeah, okay. But that's not.
So starting
This is
from
not
that
unique.
point, I will link it with the books I read about entrepreneurship and people who I've interviewed with, and talk about my interpretations because it's my extended essay.
Yeah, okay, it's your extended essay, but the fact is that the extended essay has to satisfy some sort of intellectual criteria of reasonable interpretations and logical argument. Okay, by simply saying, okay, here is a surah, this is the way I interpret it, and here is an example. That that is not a very satisfactory way of answering your question. Because anything can be made to appear as if it is a manifestation of the Quran.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't use the Quran, if you use the Bible, I could, turn everything into an interpretation of the Bible or other scriptures. So, I think your the connection that you're trying to research, okay, is a connection based on interpretation of religious texts, which is not what a business essay is meant to be about. Okay, if you're writing an essay in business management,
Mm-hmm.
it needs to use the vocabulary of business.
Yes.
Okay, which is why I suggested you look at business models, you look at strategies, you look at marketing practices, you look at human resources practices, you can look at financial practices and so on, and then see. And here I'm not very clear because I've never actually looked for. I'm aware that many business people have religious affiliations. Okay, and I'm also aware that many sort of religious ideas have, in a very indirect way, motivated business people to do certain things. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
like saving, for instance.
Yes, like sharing as well.
Like sharing, like saving, like giving to charity, and so on and so forth. That this whole concept of zakat, for instance.
Yes.
Okay, it is a duty placed not just on Muslims but also Muslim businesses, I suppose. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm
So my point is, okay, fine, but what interesting conclusion can you derive from this? I mean, is this unique to Islam? Is this something which some sort of model of innovation which is only to be found in Islamic societies, which is not found anywhere else? Because what you're pointing to are examples that are found in most countries, okay? But only in a Muslim context, of course, it's going to be justified in terms of the, if people want to give a religious justification, then they'll find one in the Quran, somehow or the other.
Mm-hmm.
So my point is, it is the practice that motivates a search and a certain sort of religious mindset that motivates a search for a justification in the Quran. Not if the Quran doesn't yield an automatic sort of model for entrepreneurship.
Yes, you're right.
Do you see what I'm saying? In
Yes.
reality, and the reason why I'm saying this is because you'll find exactly the same practices in my country, in Europe, in America, and so on. And the only interesting economic sort of model that Islam has created, in my opinion, is the idea of Islamic finance. Where there is a prohibition on interest, and therefore certain sorts of business models have emerged, like Islamic banking and so on, which claim to follow religious principles, okay, or Islamic or Quranic principles. But that is a very special case. I mean, in most Islamic countries, they don't, in fact, they have a mixture of both Islamic banking and, well, normal banking. I mean, including in Turkey, right? I don't know what Saudi Arabia, but in Pakistan, they have foreign banks operating and charging interest, and they have Islamic banks charging, a commission, which is not interest.
They call something as like a portion from the profit. They say. It's,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
It's like it's the same. Okay. The interesting thing that I want to end up after writing my essay, it would be saying, okay, so this is what is said in the business and management book in 2016, and this is what is said in the Quran 100 years ago, and
Yeah.
they're all linked. So it's like, yes, of course it's an interpretation, but like it's a holy book, so anything related to that will be interpretation. But so what would you be your suggestion?
My suggestion, if you want to make it a business and management essay, is to avoid that religious thing altogether, because it's not unique to Islam. Just do an ordinary business and management essay on some aspect of business strategy, for instance. Using statistics and data and so on.
So like avoiding Islam as like the whole thing.
Well, yeah, because the connection between Islam and business is something which you find very difficult to establish.
Yes, but I want to do that.
And I don't know to what extent it will be successful either, because I mean, can you tell me something about Islamic non-profits, for instance, or Islamic foundations, like
Yeah.
waqfs,
Yes.
okay, which have a certain tradition in Islamic societies, like the waqfs have a tradition in Islamic society, and I suppose they're based on original Islamic principles. Why do you find so many waqfs in countries like Turkey and I suppose other Islamic countries as well?
Because there are lots of people. That's why.
Yeah, there are lots of people who establish these waqfs. Are they usually for charitable purposes or educational purposes? Do they have any special sort of religious connection which are again based on interpretations of the holy texts and so on? So you can't, the word entrepreneurship itself is a word of very recent origin.
Yes, that's my key point. I'm thinking about like this is something brand new, and this is Quran from 1600 years ago, and I'm saying like they're linked, and I can like write about how a piece of text, a holy book, the Quran, would promote entrepreneurs. Like,
But see, that is you are using, look, you're using an idea and applying it to a period in which the idea did not apply.
Yes.
And you're saying, yeah, see, entrepreneurship, it's like something that people do in India, for instance, when they're talking about Hinduism. They say that they claim, because they are sort of very fervent Hindus, that Hinduism discovered everything. You're like, what? Like, the whole of mathematics and the whole of nuclear physics, and see, look at this. And in the Vedas and in our holy scriptures, this is what it was. And, I mean, You can just interpret it any way you want, and you can make it appear as if, yeah, we discovered it because the whole idea is a nationalistic idea. We Indians discovered all this years ago. The West was such a late comer, the losers. That was the whole motivation. Now, you are looking at entrepreneurship, okay?
Yes.
And you're saying, yeah, we Muslims knew about it a long time ago. It was all foretold in the Quran. This,
So
I mean, this has got nothing to do with your actual beliefs, okay? I mean, religious people will conduct themselves in a manner uh, which is not completely out of tune with their contemporary society, but maybe based on values which have a long history. Okay, but to say that this practice, okay, goes back 1700 years or something, because the Quran thought of it. How do I know? Well, this is what the Quran says, and this is what it means. Well, what authority do you have to say that?
What about
because if you
can I tell?
Do you see what I'm saying?
I think so. But what about this? So let's say you're a young Muslim entrepreneur. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Could you imagine that?
No, I can imagine that, but why bring the Muslim thing in? Is what I'm saying. Because
because I'm interested in. Okay. So let's say you're a young Muslim entrepreneur, and then like you lack some motivation.
Tell me something. How are Muslim entrepreneurs different from other entrepreneurs?
No, just okay. When I finish my sentence and something, you will understand. Okay. So let's say you're a Muslim entrepreneur, okay? Because you work so hard, you cannot find some, let's say, funds or any investments, so you face some difficult times, as any entrepreneur on the earth, okay?
All right.
So I am like an elder in your family, and I handle this piece of work, my extended essay by Sinan, and that motivates you because that essay, that piece of work, is about how Quranic values support entrepreneurship. Did you get it?
Great. Fine. It's not going to get me my funds though. It's nice to know that Quranic values support entrepreneurship, but where is the money going to come from?
You will get the motivation.
Why? I could get my motivation by my dad telling me, I know a friend and I'm going to try and, convince him to lend you some money. That motivation will work as well. Or if I say, if my dad is sufficiently rich, I'll say, I'm having a hard time starting off this business. Can you help me? Dad says, sure. Okay, my motivation goes up.
Okay, let's say you have the money, but you don't have the motivation to work hard enough.
Okay, so if you're a Muslim, you'll go go to the mosque and seek, divine guidance and so on. If you're a Christian, you'll go to the church and seek divine guidance. If you're something else, my point is,
you say they're all the same.
Well, don't misunderstand me when I say they're all the same. Of course, all religions are not the same. But at a certain level, they are the same. In the same way that all human beings are the same, but they are not the same.
In certain aspects, you're right. Yeah, like 50%, you are right.
See, no, wait. Biologically, human beings are the same.
Yes.
Culturally, they are all different. Socially, they are different. Okay. In the same way, religions, especially the Abrahamic religions, the three religions of the book, like Christianity, Judaism, and Islam.
Islam, yes.
They all have a very close family resemblance, but they're different.
Okay.
They're different. But the fact is, this may have, religious ideas may have motivated certain ideas that emerged at certain times in history, like Protestantism, of a certain kind, which was propagated by this Swiss priest called Calvin. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
he believed that it is, you know, God's, sort of injunction to human beings, especially Christians, is to prepare for a better life afterwards in heaven by saving and setting aside, not consuming everything, setting aside some money. Now, it just happened that this was at a time when capitalism was just flourishing, so people had to find money from somewhere.
Yes.
So what did Calvin do? He created a whole ideology. This is why you need to study the ideological functions of religion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, religions are often interpreted to support a very human practice or a human trend. Look, if you're talking about supporting, so finding support for the Quran for business, people are finding support for the Quran for all kinds of things. All you have to do is look at what is happening in the neighboring countries, right? They are finding support for the Quran in killing other Muslims as well, right? So, I mean, the point is, yes, it is possible for Muslims, individuals, um, to find support for their business ventures or find motivation or inspiration, like ilham, okay, for their business ventures in the Quran. That is the ideological function of religion. And please don't misunderstand the word ideology here. Okay,
Yes.
I'm not using the word ideology in a sort of sense, like a negative sense.
Mm-hmm.
I'm using the word ideological in a purely functional sense. This is what ideologies do. Okay, they provide a sort of a metaphysical basis for reasoning and finding reasons or supporting reasons for acting in a certain way in this world. All right. And people who are religious minded look for those kinds of texts to support a particular interpretation which helps them.
Okay.
Okay, but there is no necessary connection between Islam and entrepreneurship.
How do you know? That's why my extended
Well,
essay. That's why I would write my extended essay.
a good question. How do I know? Well, do you disagree with my reasoning or not?
I agree with your reasoning. So let's say I'm doing an experiment, okay?
Yeah.
So, and I say this pack of napkin will fly 20 kilometers when I throw this. Or let's say like
Okay.
5 kilometers when I throw this. And I want
Yeah.
to extend essay on this, on the physics. I get physics extended essay. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
You give me some reasons saying that, Sinan, there is no possible chance that you can throw this for 5 kilometers because of the, let's say, aerodynamics, because you're not that strong, those kind of reasons. And I completely
Yeah.
agree with you.
Yeah.
But because of my passion to throw this thing for 5 kilometers, I want to do an extended essay on that. And at the end, I still have the chance to throw this 5 kilometers.
No, you don't. You don't. Because
How do you
throwing
know?
that don't try it. Throwing that 5 kilometers is a
Yes, the thing,
physical
I want to
impossibility.
try it.
Is it's Look, it's a physical impossibility because if you are, I mean, even your elementary knowledge of physics is going to tell you that this is an impossibility.
Yes.
Okay, but the fact is, so if it is an impossibility, going into the Quran is not going to make it a possibility.
Why
Look,
the possibility?
if a business person is meeting with huh? a, a business person who is meeting with a lot of success in society,
Yes.
okay, in his business, if he's religiously minded, will say, okay, God has done me this favor. It is all because of God's grace that I am
Yes,
now
okay.
so successful. All right. The next year, his business goes down. Okay.
And then you will say,
So
God gave me that.
yeah, so if he's still religious, okay, he'll say, okay, this is what God willed, and so I just have to suffer my way through it. I will look to God for help and succor and sustenance and so on. Okay, so but that's his religious ideology at work. That thinking like that by itself is not going to help him recover from his situation.
Yes, and that's in hard work in Quran is also promoted. That's what I'm saying.
But see, hard work can mean many different things.
Okay. Well, what can you like name or?
What I'm saying is that the meanings of words, especially in religious texts, are so broad that you can interpret them in any way you wish,
Mhm.
which is why people are using the same text to do great good and to do great evil. Can't you see that?
Yes, yes.
I mean, there's nothing which says that just because I'm quoting the Quran, I'm a good guy who's only going to do good in the world. Because
Mhm.
people who are doing great evil in the world are also quoting religious texts, not just the Quran, but the Bible and everything else.
You're
They're
right.
killing each other, they're killing the people from their own religious community, okay, in the name of Islam or Christianity or whatever else.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
just 500 years ago, no, 400,
600.
400 to 500 years ago, 400 to 500 in the 1600s,
Mhm.
Europe was at war, and the war lasted for 30 years. Okay, what were people doing? Slaughtering each other in the name of Protestant versus Catholic. In the 1970s, 40 years ago, people were slaughtering each other in Northern Ireland in the name of Protestant versus Catholic.
Mhm.
What does that prove? People were also trying to seek peace in the name of the Bible and between Protestant and Catholic on the basis of Christian values. So there was a big fight going on between people who said, no, no, no, because we are Protestants, we have to be Catholics and vice versa. But other Protestants and Catholics were saying, no, we don't have to. What are you doing?
Mhm. Isn't
Now
it
the
because
same
I can
fight.
share my own point of view?
Yes, but your point of view, look, this is an essay in business, right? If you want to write an essay in philosophy, that's a different matter, okay? But then you have to use philosophical methods in order uh, to do that. Hang on a second. I'll show
Can
you an example. I'll show you an example of a very good extended essay in religion, written
so,
by a Muslim student.
Mr.
Written by a
Sam,
Muslim student. Yeah.
the reason I chose to do the business and management is first that having you as my advisor would help me develop a better essay, and second that I don't have a business and management class. So what would happen if I wrote my excellent essay on world religions?
Well, you can write it in world religions, okay? But then you have to, your whole, um, okay, hang on a second. Let me find that essay first, okay?
Can I ask you another question, very quick, very quick?
Okay, go on.
Would my research question work if I was doing in world religions?
Mhm. It, it might, but you have to state it in terms which make sense in the discipline of world religions, okay? Now, wait, just hang on a second. Okay, I'm sending you something.
You can like screen share with me.
Okay, I can screen share with you.
Yes.
Like I want to share a document with you.
Huh.
How do I-
You can just send me an email. That's easier.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
Which email will you send it to?
Wait, hang on. Ibatwa.
No, no, to like my email, my Yandex mail or my Gmail.
Gmail.
Okay. My like. Okay. Let's.
Okay. Sinan Lug, right?
Sinan look 801. Yes.
801
Yes.
at gmail.com, right?
Yes.
Sample in world religions. I'm not making any comment or anything. I'm just attaching a file.
Okay. Did you send it?
Hang on. Oh, it's 20 megabytes. It's going to take a while.
Okay.
Okay, I'm not sure that this is going to work as a business and management essay. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay. So can I
And
do something?
I have been trying to tell you that for a long time, by the way. But you're so fixed in your idea that you're going to make this work that I mean you can still do it, okay? But don't expect a good result from it, is what I'm saying. Now, I assume that you're doing this because you want a good result in it. So I'm going to have to warn you that this is not going to yield a good result. But it's not my essay, it's your essay. It's your diploma, not mine. Okay. So you have to make that judgment finally.
And would it have a would I have a good result if I was doing it in world religions?
It stands a better chance, is all I can say.
If you were
See,
me,
because what you in world religions, you can directly ask a question of the kind that is asked in the essay that I've just sent you. Okay.
I didn't get it. Wait.
Yeah, I know you. It's taking a time to. It's taking a long time to load. Yeah. So you can directly ask a question like, to what extent are 21st century ideas of entrepreneurship, okay, supported by uh, the following texts? Now you have to be quite specific about that. You can't just say the Quran or the Hadith or the fiqh. You know, you have to be quite specific about certain sort of things. So you have to actually, first of all, do two things: study the scriptures much more in a much more detailed fashion. Look at how these scriptural texts have been interpreted by Islamic theologians and other scholars in the past, and then imitate that or adopt that particular model of interpretation by looking at how these ideas can be interpreted to support an Islamic notion of entrepreneurship.
I can do that. I think I honestly think that I can do that.
Well,
And
you
would it like
can. This girl whose extended essay I'm sending you right now, she's her the exact topic of her essay was, oh God, wait. To what extent are the concepts of hijab and niqab supported by the Quran, prophetic narrations, and Islamic jurists?
I'll look at that
Okay.
essay before. It's on SharePoint. It's
Yeah,
on
so I
SharePoint.
must have sent it to you. I must have sent it to you before, right?
Yes, no, yeah, it's on SharePoint, so I can like access it. I can access it right now.
You mean it's on Moss?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So go look at it again.
Okay. So, do you think that my excellent essay would work if I did something close to that kind of question and in world religions?
Yeah, well, if you look at her table of contents, okay,
Mm-hmm.
look at the way she's developed her whole essay.
I be
Now she's talked about the hijab and the niqab and the women's dress of various kinds and the Islamic
yes.
dress code. Okay, whereas you are going to talk not about the Islamic dress code, but about business
Entrepreneurship.
practice.
Yes.
Okay, well,
Mm-hmm.
business practice. I would use the word business practice
Okay,
rather
business
than
practice.
entrepreneurship. Actually, sorry, no, entrepreneurship, unless you can define entrepreneurship very clearly, okay,
Mm-hmm.
it's a form of business practice, okay, it's not just any old business practice.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you understand by entrepreneurship? Let me ask you that question.
As I wrote in my part, it says like starting a new company. Isn't it enough? The act, I said the act of starting a new business from either a technological background, idea, or a passion. In this act, an individual or a group of people create and develop an idea in order to make profit out of it. Entrepreneurship is often defined as a journey with considerable amount of risks.
Just a minute. See, now this is a definition of entrepreneurship. You've defined it. Where did you get this definition from?
I wrote it.
Okay, on the basis of what?
I'll look at few sites, few books, and then uh, I thought about it and then I wrote it down. I didn't take it from somewhere.
Okay, good. So, but you need to also look at or sort of discuss other definitions and say why you've changed or modified, why you haven't adopted somebody else's definition, because there are certain elements that you would like to focus on, let's say. Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
what are these elements of entrepreneurship? So, the whole point of doing research is to be very, very clear and specific
Mm-hmm.
in your mind about various terms. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And try not to make assertions, which you made, by the way, all throughout your research journal, which is fine, because
What
the
did I
research
make? What did I make?
statements which do not have, like adequate support. It's fine making it in the research journal, but don't make sort of sweeping statements or, other things of that kind without adequate support from either some authority or some evidence in terms of data or whatever. You see what I'm saying? I'll
Yes.
give you an example of what I mean. Um, uh, See, this is why I kept saying, we need to meet regularly,
Mm-hmm.
every couple of weeks, if not every week. But, you guys are so used to sort of doing things your own way that you just ignore everybody else's advice. Okay. And you find yourself in this position right now. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if you had, we should have had this discussion at least in December or January.
Actually, we did have it, and then we decided to change it on to change it to business and management.
Okay, so now, are you convinced that this is not a good idea?
Yes.
If you want, if you this is what you want, then we need to go back to the original idea of doing it in world religion.
Well,
But
yes.
even there, all I'm suggesting is world religion is not a guarantee that you'll definitely, get a better essay, but it will make much more sense. You're more likely to succeed in world religions with this kind of a question than in business and management. But this has required some discussion, and this discussion should have taken place a few months ago.
We had this like a similar discussion, but after writing like the whole research journal and the whole thing, I have a more clearer an idea of like a more supportive argument of doing it on world religions rather than business and management.
That is the main benefit of this discussion.
Yes.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Now, let me see if that Gmail is ready to be sent or not. Ah, it is. Okay. No, but you already got it, right? So anyway,
No,
I'm sending it to you.
yes, it's not in SharePoint.
Anyway, I've just sent it to you. So you can
Yes.
take a look at it. Have you got it?
Let me check. Yes, sample accent essay world religions and okay. Yes, Mr. Sam. Mr. Sam, you are frozen.
Sorry?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. You were frozen for a second.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so which page should I look now?
Oh, in that essay that I've just sent you.
Yes, I've opened it.
Okay, so look at the way the table of contents is arranged. Okay.
Okay, table of contents. Definition of key concepts, historical perspective, examination of the Quran, chronology, dress code during the prophetic era, different interpretations of Islamic dress code. So, like, I can change, like, the dress code to entrepreneurship, like business models, or what did you say, business models, right?
Well, entrepreneurship, but
Yes,
you can talk about entrepreneurship, you can talk about business models, you can basically, I think you should talk about, my suggestion is don't talk about entrepreneurship generally, you talk about social entrepreneurship. There's a distinction. Yes.
Oh, but it's like, it's much harder to make research on social entrepreneurship because that there are not that much books on that. But it
What are
might
you
be
talking about?
about doing social
There's plenty of literature on social. There's plenty of literature on social entrepreneurship.
like compared to the normal and regular entrepreneurship, they're less.
The normal entrepreneurship is not one thing. It's a huge area.
Yes, I know.
The reason why I'm asking you to focus on social entrepreneurship is because you're talking about a religious text, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Where religious texts typically tell people to do good first, okay? To give primacy to the welfare of other human beings. Whereas entrepreneurship doesn't really care about the welfare of other human beings, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The primary duty in entrepreneurship is not the welfare of other human beings, but the creation of a new idea to find new ways of making money.
Okay.
Now, the fact is, of course, that this is an old question. Which comes first, making money or serving other people? Well, of course, you can't make money in business without serving somebody. Okay.
Yes.
I mean, even the heroin dealer is serving someone. and making lots of money in the bargain as well. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But religious business ideas, okay, or religious ideas applied to business are not typically used to sell things like arms, prostitutes, drugs, and other harmful things, obviously harmful things.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody, I don't think you'll find a single, well, I mean, you might, uh, because there are lots of people who profess to be uh, followers of Islam who are doing precisely those kinds of things. Okay?
Okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you can be a drug pusher, you can be an arms dealer, you can be
Okay.
a human war criminal, and you can belong to any religion,
Okay.
and you can keep uttering words from that religion to which you belong. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
the fact is, but when religious texts talk about how to live in this world, they
Okay.
typically don't talk about doing harm to other people.
Yes, of course. Why
And
would
social
you
and social entrepreneurship is more focused on doing
doing good
good.
for yes? Mm-hmm. Actually, like you changed my mind, Mr. Sen. I feel like doing it on world religions, and rather than focusing on entrepreneurship, focusing on social entrepreneurship.
Yeah,
Then I have to
just
change the
Google
people.
social entrepreneur.
Yes,
Just Google social entrepreneurship.
no, no, no. I
Just
know.
Google and see what you get.
No, no, I know social entrepreneurship. I've been to, uh, like, I've read some articles. I've been to a seminar, a whole day seminar in Koç University about social entrepreneurship. And just for a second, I'll just Google it. Uh, okay, I just Google, but I know what you're talking about. Mr. Stan,
Yeah.
you freeze again. That's what I ask.
No, I'm moving around. Can you see me?
Yes, I can see you now.
Okay, so let's move on with the. So now, as far as this is concerned,
Mm-hmm.
as far as this is concerned, in any case, this grade is going to come into your TOK grade.
Yes.
Okay. Um, so I suggest you start looking for books on Quranic interpretation.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Now, I have to tell you something about myself. Okay,
Okay.
I'm not a particularly religious person, but I do understand the importance of religions.
Yes.
Okay, I'm not an atheist.
Mm-hmm.
My understanding of God is something else. Okay, is not the normal understanding that people have of God. Okay. Second thing you have to understand is I'm not an expert in world religions.
Yes.
I'm an expert in helping students write good exam essays if they
Yes.
listen to my advice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I will listen to your advice.
So, uh, but it's up to you to find the sources that are required for you to do a good job here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That okay. Now that's as far as I'm concerned. Now, what you need to do is you need to do two things. Let me see if I can find the world religions subject guide because that should be very useful to you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, Mr. San, so far what we have decided is doing doing my sentence say on world religions and changing entrepreneurship to social entrepreneurship. Would that work better?
Yes, yes, but you have to be very careful about using. You have to be very careful about using. See, because doing an extended essay is not just a matter of gathering information. Okay,
Okay, yes,
it's yeah. This is something we've been talking about over and over again. But
yes.
the important thing that most people are missing, or at least I hope they're not missing, is that when you do an extended essay in something like this,
Mm-hmm.
okay, you can use it, you can do it through different disciplinary lenses. I've kept using this word,
Yes.
disciplinary lens. If you put on a history lens, you will see, you will have to adopt one method and you'll be able to see one set of things. If you adopt an anthropological lens, you will see another set of things using different methods. You
Okay.
have decided to not use the business method because it's not going to yield any, you know, great business insight. But you, I think, correctly taking my advice to use the
Okay.
world religions method. But what does that mean? What that means is you use the vocabulary of the discipline.
Okay.
Okay, you use the concepts in that discipline. Where do you get all this from? Well, that's what I'm sending you right now
Yeah.
in this link. Okay, this link is
From to my Gmail account, right?
okay. Where I think I can send it to you through this
Chat, you can send
somehow.
to chat as well.
Chat, is it? Where is
Yes,
chat?
there's
Oh,
chat in there's the
okay.
chat section in the left column. I'll just say hi.
Okay. Why am I not getting through? Okay. Yeah.
You got it?
Okay. Now go on. Take that link, shorten it, and or use it directly into your browser.
Mm-hmm. I have it right now. I'm looking at it right now. This is the thing, right?
Which one?
This is the World Religions Guide.
Yeah, this is it.
So where exactly should I look?
Go keep scrolling down, and you
Mm-hmm.
will find that there is uh, there is a list of fundamental questions. Okay, and
Here.
yeah. So, what is the human condition? Where are we going? How do we get there? Okay. Now, all religious traditions, according to this guide, basically give you answers to these three main questions. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and these questions are more sort of elaborately spelled out, for instance, here in the question of Baha'i faith. Okay,
Okay.
this is what the Baha'i faith has to say about in answer to these questions. Whereas Islam, if you go down further, can you see that? What is the human condition?
What is it?
Have you? Okay, okay. You're sharing your screen with me, right?
Yes. What is the human condition?
No, no. Scroll further down. Scroll further down.
Here.
Scroll.
It's Buddhism. Ha.
Okay.
In Islam. Okay.
Yeah. So what is the human condition?
Ah.
What
Okay.
is this?
Islam. He is here.
Yeah. So okay. So these are the basic teachings of Islam, right? Now,
Yes.
can you sort of narrow this down so that it applies to how people should conduct themselves in economic matters or financial matters when living on Earth. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Which of these concepts applies to social? Can you apply to the concept of social entrepreneurship?
Actually, the will of God. If you do good for the will of God,
Mm.
for the sake of God, you can easily interpret that for social entrepreneurship.
Okay, go further down. Go further down.
Should I scroll
Scroll,
down or like?
scroll down further. Okay, hang on. Let me open my own page of this.
If you want, you can share your site as
No, no,
well.
I'm looking at my own browser now. So now in-depth studies. Okay,
What
the
studies?
theme in-depth studies. If you look at part 2 further down.
Okay, in-depth studies.
Okay,
Yes,
so
I see this.
so you can see that the sacred texts will be a very important part of your work.
Yes,
Okay,
composition. Yes, I see it.
so will doctrines and beliefs,
Mm-hmm.
and so will uh, see, for instance, if you look at religious experience, basically I think you should look very carefully at number 2, number 3, number 5, and less so number 4. Okay.
Interpretation.
No, can you see number 2, number 3?
Yes, of
Number 2 is
course.
sacred texts. Okay. Number 3 is doctrines and beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4 is religious experience.
Experience.
Okay, but now you've got to be careful here, because religious experience as uh, as something that shapes uh, you, the way we live, the way we conduct ourselves with each other in uh, business matters, okay, in economic matters.
Mm-hmm.
And ethics and moral conduct, well, ethics and moral conduct are absolutely at the core of this whole thing, okay, because
Mm-hmm.
moral conduct is not just being nice people, but being nice people in certain contexts. In the context that you are going to look at in your essay is what?
Social entrepreneurship.
Exactly. Okay. So you have to apply these uh, these different key questions. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of them. Some of them will not be applicable. For instance, what is the place of music, singing, and dance in religious experience? Forget that. You don't have to think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you do have to think about, how and why do religious and secular laws or customs sometimes clash? This is a very important question. For instance, this is number 5.
Yes, I see.
Okay, this is a very important part of your discussion of how religious ideas like whatever, like zakat and so on,
Yes.
can affect social entrepreneurship.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So now, do you understand what I mean by
Yes, yes.
adopting a theoretical approach?
Mm-hmm. I'll just okay. So yes, I'm just like recording the link for the website to my journal. Where is it?
Now look, if you go further down, in-depth
Uh-huh.
study of Islam,
Okay. Good
have you
in-depth
found
study.
it? In-depth study for Islam,
I found.
where it talks about the in-depth study of Islam should be based on an understanding and application of the following key Islamic concepts: This is a
Yes.
really important part of this document for your purposes.
Mm-hmm.
Look, it already says here, Shahada, Salat, Zakat, Saum, Hajj. Okay. Now, which of these do you think is applicable, especially to social entrepreneurship?
Where did you find those?
Okay. Are you
Hush.
in?
Yes,
Where is?
I'm in the study of Islam.
Yeah. So you go further down a little bit, and there is mm, the worship part, pillars of Islam.
I worship the pillars of, yes, Shahada. Okay, Shahada is like that has nothing to do with social entrepreneurship. Salat is
Okay.
not as well because it's something that you would do. Zakat is of like for sure something.
No, wait, wait, wait. Don't say Salat is not, because Niya, okay, which means intention, that may have
Mhm.
something to do with it.
Well, like intention can be interpreted any place. Like even doing this Google Hangout would can be linked to intention.
Well, exactly. So it basically, when you're looking for ways in which people have interpreted Islamic texts to apply to human conduct, intention is a very important part of that conduct, right?
Yes. Wait.
But
Yes.
but more specifically, zakat, for instance, this extra charity on the occasion of festivals and ceremonies,
But
etc., etc.
okay, the thing with zakat is uh you like you need to have a certain amount of wealth to give zakat, and if you have that certain amount, you give 1/4, like that portion as your zakat. So let's say you are a social, not social. So yes, yes, social entrepreneur. So you started an NGO with all these with good intentions for Islam, but you might
Hmm.
not have that amount of wealth to give that amount of like to money. So sadaqah, like giving, as a charity, would be better and more relevant to what we're talking about.
Okay.
Mhm. So Mr. San, after like I think there are three things that we've decided on. Like I
Okay.
made
Look,
my
look,
mind
look,
up.
look further down. Look further down. In theme 4 and theme 5,
In where theme? Theme
theme 4,
four.
religious experience and specified content.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is all about dance and meditation and mysticism and rituals and festivals and so on. Okay,
Yes.
but it is possible. Now, this is something that you have to find out about. Is it possible that the group experience of being Muslim also would include things like charitable acts or things like social entrepreneurship?
Mm-hmm.
If you can find a plausible interpretation, okay, by looking at the scholarship, looking at what other Islamic scholars have written, okay, and if you can come out with the idea that social entrepreneurship is also supported through these kinds of texts and these kinds of interpretations, okay,
Mm-hmm.
then you will have said something original in your essay.
Hmm. Could you please repeat that? There might be a place that I missed.
No, this is being recorded, right?
Yes.
So what I'm saying is, look, you're looking at theme for religious experience, right?
Yes.
Now, business is very much a part of the experience of 21st century life. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for Muslims or for people who are faithful, like Deendar, okay,
Mm-hmm.
it may be the case that social entrepreneurship has a very firm basis in Islamic in certain interpretations of Islamic texts.
Okay.
So this is something that you might want to investigate.
Mm-hmm. And based on the subject.
Okay, and look further down below, theme 5, ethics and moral conduct. Okay,
Mm-hmm. Entrepreneurship. Yes, I see it.
so themes such as love for human beings, protection of the weak, respect for elders, killing, suicide, marriage, polygamy, blah, blah, blah, blah, blah. Okay, jihad as moral struggle. Okay, but
Mm-hmm.
what about business as well? Conducting economic affairs. That can be part of, the scope of ethical practice. For instance, here, examples for family law, but also for Kanun, secular law, votes for women, education, commercial law. Here, commercial law. Look,
Yes.
can you see that?
Yes.
So, what I'm saying is, if you can have, some kind of textual interpretation which supports commercial law, I'm sure you can find textual interpretation. But
Mm-hmm.
this is what is going to be your original contribution. You are trying to find textual interpretation for not commercial law, but a particular kind of commercial practice, which is already in consonance with Islamic values,
Mm-hmm.
which is namely social entrepreneurship.
Yes.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I got it.
So now the search is up to you to make.
Mm-hmm. So I
Okay.
made my mind like more clear after like talking you. And first of all, thank you for sharing that much amount of time with me. So.
Okay. Now here is another thing that you can do. You can look at the structure of this girl's essay.
Mm-hmm.
Not You can look at some of the content as well, especially in the way she makes references to religious uh, scholars. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And look at the scholars that she's studying, look at her bibliography, look at the way she uses the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Of course, she's talking about a completely different thing. She's talking about the hijab and the niqab. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But that is not what you're going to get from this. You should see the way she has structured her essay.
I will comment.
Look at her bibliography and use some of
Mm-hmm.
it.
Okay. Sinan, so I change so far. I change my topic and the subject I'm doing it, and I look for and I will search on. I look for the bibliography and the way the girl structured her essay, and then I will refer to the subject guide. These are the
Yeah,
four.
by the way, there is a PDF version of that as well. Uh, I think it might be in Moss as well. Wait, hang on. Let me see if I can find it.
Mhm.
Uh, oops.
Hocam, is
Okay,
this
hang
your
on.
dog barking?
No, I don't have a dog.
There's a dog barking.
This is the neighbor's dog. Wait. Uh, what is this shit? Oh God, get out of this place.
What happened?
These funny, slimy sort of ads that come up without any warning nowadays. All right, I'm going to give you a PDF guide right now.
Mm-hmm. Did you send it, Mr. Sam?
No, I'm sending it. Wait.
Okay.
Sending you 2 documents. Okay. I'm sending you 2 documents. Okay.
Okay.
Uh, wait.
Mr. Sam, is it possible if we can end like the interview for today?
Yeah, I'm just about to finish.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sending you one more email and then I'll let you go.
Okay, thank you.
All right, just check to see whether you've got it.
You send it to me? Okay. Let me check it. Refresh, and I got it. Okay. Okay, I got them both.
Okay, study them carefully
Mm-hmm.
and keep in touch with me. Don't disappear.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Sam, thank you for your time.
Yeah, and we need to do this fairly frequently now because you've started again. You lost months of time.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I need to. You need to be. We're going to have to do another interview, okay, which is going to be the one I'm going to mark, okay, for your rubric.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to use this interview because it's taken a very different turn from what I anticipated. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to, you've got my, you can come to my office and take my evaluation from me tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And that will tell you, in the light of what we discussed today, we can then decide what I'm going to talk about in the next discussion, which is going to
Okay.
be used for marking, so
Mm-hmm.
that you can sort of make up for, well, generally get a reasonable grade. I don't think your grade is going to be absolutely top. Okay, because everything is
Change.
yani boşuna git.
Not hocam öyle
Yani boşuna
demeyin ya.
git. Boşuna gitmedi ama you understand what I'm saying. Like baştan yani başlıyoruz yani.
Well, you're not starting from zero.
Sıfırdan değil ama neyse.
Peki
So
bütün
have I given
interview'u
you
Türkçe
enough to
yapalım.
have I given you enough material to work on for the next couple of weeks now?
Evet, evet.
Because by the end of this month, I have to create a grade for you.
Yes, okay. So when should our next interview due? What is the due date?
Well, look, don't let's decide now. Remember that by 29th of May, I have to be at a meeting where I am prepared to discuss the grades that I have got, that I have given to you and Khan, and to Celine. Of course, I'll never see Celine until I drag her out of wherever she is. Okay. But so I need to have meetings with all of you guys before that time.
Okay.
So you need to take a week to study what I've just given you.
Okay.
And think of where you're going to get the stuff from. Write your ideas and your thoughts in your journal, and come prepared to discuss those parts of your evaluation, which either are a 0 or a 1. You won't know that until I show you my rubric in which I've made those markings. Okay.
Okay.
So you know what to do now?
Yes.
You have to be ready by 27th of May
Okay.
for the second interview. And I've given you enough material to study. Now go ahead and start focusing on that theoretical stuff.
Okay. Thank you, hocam. Thank you for your time and have a nice evening.
Focus on, yeah, I know you've got to get back to biology, but wait. Focus on developing a definition of social entrepreneurship and then see how you can link it with the stuff that I've given you.
Okay. I will.
All right. Good night.
Good night. Thank you. İyi akşamlar.